As we all know by now, 2017 was a stellar year for video games. The variety and sheer quality of what it had to offer us was almost as impressive as Logan Paul's mind-numbing stupidity. And his stupid fucking name, and his stupid hair, and that stupid fucking hat. Prick. But now we are in 2018, a completely new year, a fresh year. And that begs the question, does 2018 have what it takes to live up to the high standards that last year set? Well, right now, the answer to that question is anybody's guess. But one thing 2018 does have for certain is potential. Potential to be just as good as the year that has just preceded it. As such, I have compiled a list, yes, another list, in another Daryl Does video. This is a list of 6 games that I think will come to define 2018, that will come to shape 2018 in video games. These are almost like predictions for next year's games that shape 2018. Almost. Anyway, first on that list is SpiderMan from Insomniac Games, being developed for PlayStation 4 and probably coming out in 2018. Probably. Highly likely. 2018 is set to be a strong year for Sony, one full of exclusive releases that could have easily filled the majority of this list. Yet there is one game, and one game alone, that could prove to be Sony and PlayStation's biggest success in 2018. Spider-Man. Yes, the friendly neighbourhood dickslinger is in development at Insomniac Games exclusively for PlayStation 4, and Insomniac, a studio that seems to have been around since the dawn of time, appears to be doing a bang-up job of it so far. The scant few trailers that have dropped for the game seem to be taking Peter Parker in the right direction, one that many are predicting will be Spider-Man's Arkham Asylum moment. You know, the moment when all the Spider-Man games stop being utter dog shit. Utter, runny, diarrhea dog shit. Obviously, I'm not talking about Spider-Man 2 or that early PlayStation 1 Spider-Man. Yeah, those were alright, okay? Those were okay. The rest was shit. And although no solid release date has been announced as of yet, it's almost certain at this point that Spider-Man will be swinging his way into your PS4 at some point in 2018. The game has already been going through some very public internal playtests at Insomniac, and James Stevenson, the community director at Insomniac, confirmed on Reset Era forums just the other day that Spider-Man is indeed a 2018 game. The whip. Fucking the whip, mate. Next up on the list, Strange Brigade. Strange Brigade. I always have problems saying that. Yeah, Strange Brigade. Developed by Rebellion, coming to PS4, Xbox One and PC. The release date is yet to be announced. So the first I saw of Strange Brigade was when I got to play it at EGX in 2017. And ever since I put down that greasy, bacteria-ridden controller at Rebellion's booth, it's been a hard game to forget. This co-op shooter set in a stylised 1930s sees you and 3 other players set out to rid the far reaches of the British Empire of its supernatural infestation. You can pick one of 4 characters, each with their own unique abilities and skill sets, to embark on missions where you'll be tasked with eliminating all manner of mythological monsters. And if you're thinking this sounds quite familiar, then you would be right. You would be 100% right. It has some undeniable Left 4 Dead sensibilities about it, some that have surely inspired the game a great deal. That is by no means a bad thing though, as this is no straight rip-off of that much-loved franchise. Rip off! There's enough style and character within Strange Brigade to make it not just stand out as its own thing, but stand out above the rest. And that was something that was obvious to me when I played it back in September.
Rebellion presents the fearless and unflinching Strange Brigade.
Chaining together headshot after headshot against waves of enemies, working together as a team to hit our objectives, and teaming up to take down a big baddie at the end of the level was some of the most intense yet exciting co-op gameplay I'd experienced in a long time. And although a release date has yet to be announced, I'm sure that if this game were to come out in 2018, it would definitely make itself known to the world. Number 3 on the list is Yoshi, that is being developed by Good Feel. It's coming to the Nintendo Switch sometime in 2018. Probably. Another of Nintendo's big first-party IPs is heading to the Switch this year, this time in the form of everybody's favourite green dinosaur, Yoshi. Is he a dinosaur? Or a lizard? He's a reptile, right? He lays eggs. He's definitely a reptile. He's definitely not a bird, although he can fly. Yes, Yoshi is on his merry way to the Switch at the hand of Yoshi's Woolly World developer Good Feel, and is slated to come out sometime in 2018. Is it me, or is that name a bit creepy? Good Feel. Something a bit a bit Kevin Spacey about it. Now, Yoshi makes it onto this list for one reason and one reason alone: Nintendo's current form. Since Switch came out, Nintendo have released game after game that has absolutely crushed it. As such, there is no reason to assume that trend will not continue. Nintendo are serious about doing good by this platform, that much is clear. And you can be damn sure that an IP as precious as Yoshi will not end up on the hybrid system if it is anything less than perfect. And at this point, it's pretty much dead certain that that high point of perfection will be hit. Sure, it looks like it belongs in the toddler section of your local mothercare, but then again so did Super Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild. Yet despite their lack of dull grey-brown environments, nuclear apocalypses and Hollywood explosions, Nintendo's recent games have provided more than enough reason to get excited about what they've got coming in the future. And Yoshi is no exception. That little green bastard has undoubtedly got some great things up his sleeve. He doesn't have sleeves, and is probably going to be just one of many wonderful feathers Nintendo will add to its cap in 2018. Next on the list is Far Cry 5, developed by Ubisoft, coming to PS4, Xbox One and PC on the 27th of March 2018. We actually have a date, that's nice. Far Cry 5 is yet another game I played at last year's EGX, and ultimately one that I was left disappointed by. The build Ubisoft had playable at the expo was, well, utter shit. It ran at about 7 frames per second, the gunplay felt like I was moving through custard, and I'm pretty sure the enemy AI was on day release. And yet, my hopes for this game are still high, if a little tempered. This installment of Ubisoft's popular shooty bang bang game has ditched the tropical settings of previous Far Cry games for Fatboy Trump's Middle America, making its home in fictional Hope County, Montana, and that in of itself makes for interesting fodder. The familiarity of the setting, even for a British oik like myself, is fascinating, especially since freedom and liberation from oppression is a running theme in the Far Cry series. How that oppression translates into the land of the free is going to be a compelling experience, I am sure, especially since that oppression is laid down by religious zealots who have Hope County on lockdown. It is a refreshing take on a staple product, one that was desperately needed as Far Cry was edging dangerously close to stagnation. And as for those issues that I experienced at EGX playing the game, well, I'm pretty sure they will get ironed out when we see the full release of the product. It's already been delayed a little bit, so they've taken a little bit more time to get this shit right. And judging by past installments of the franchise, like, the gunplay is going to be nothing short of perfection. So don't worry about it. We're alright. We're alright, I'm sure. Number 5 on the list is We Happy Few from Compulsion Games, coming to PS4, Xbox One and PC. We Happy Few is a survival horror set in a highly stylised alternative version of 1960s England, where everybody is force-fed a drug called joy, which keeps the population subdued and under significant control. Remind you of anything? Anything at all? Got a funny haircut? Talks a lot of shit. The game has you play out the lives of 3 different characters who are trying to escape the joyous hell that is Wellington Wells by using your cunning and or brawn to make it out alive. Whether you run, hide, attack or blend in, the choice is yours. But be warned, as each time you fail, the world gets procedurally generated completely afresh, making this dystopian hell feel that little bit more hellish. We Happy Few is truly shaping up to be quite a wonderful game. But what makes this game that little bit more curious, besides its wonderful creepy narrative and brilliant aesthetic, is its development history itself. The game was originally slated for a release last year as an indie title and Xbox exclusive, but after being picked up by publisher Gearbox, We Happy Few got an injection of cash that transformed it into a multi-platform, full retail game. It'll now be interesting to see if developer Compulsion Games' grant of more time and resources will actually pay off for Gearbox, turning this promising lump of carbon into a true diamond.
Everyone in Wellington Wells is doing exactly what he or she ought to. What about you?
And finally, number 6 on this list is Red Dead Redemption 2. Developed by Rockstar Games and coming out on PS4 and Xbox One and probably PC at some point in 2018. Maybe. You never know with Rockstar, to be honest. I mean, come on. Do I really need to explain why Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of the most exciting titles of this year? Really? Okay then. Look, it's Rockstar, and everything Rockstar seems to touch turns to gold. The mega developer has been on a long-term winning streak that has spanned nearly 2 decades, and there's no reason to suggest that's going to end any time soon. Especially since their last game not only managed to stay relevant across 2 console generations, but is perhaps more relevant today than when it was released 5 years ago. I mean, I even bought the thing 2 times, for fuck's sake. Twice within 18 months. What? Why? Why? How? Just looking at this now, I'm a fucking idiot. Why did I buy it twice? I'd already played it. Red Dead Redemption 2 then is a no-brainer. A game that will without a doubt live up to its smash hit predecessors and almost definitely eclipse any game that even dare release anywhere near it. As for what it is and what we know about it though, there isn't a whole lot we can actually talk about. What we do know is that it is a prequel to Red Dead Redemption, that the player is going to take control of a fella called Arthur Morgan, and that there's a scruffy dog in it somewhere. You know, key points, always the key points. But really the only thing we need to know, the only thing that really matters, is that it's being developed by Rockstar. And this is by far and away one of the most securest seals of quality any video game can be brazened with. Okay, bold prediction. Red Dead Redemption 2, Game of the Year 2018.
You're a wanted man, Mr. Morgan.
Maybe when your mother's finished mourning your father, I'll keep her in black on your behalf.
And that's that, my 6 most anticipated games of 2018. But don't you dare go thinking that's all 2018 has to offer. I've not even mentioned the likes of Days Gone, God of War, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Bayonetta 3, Sea of Thieves, Ni no Kuni 2, Skull and Bones, Y2K, a postmodern RPG, Biomutant, Guacamelee 2, Kingdom Hearts 3, Darksiders 3, Metro Exodus, Monster Hunter Worlds, Metroid Prime 4, Kirby, and Nintendo Labia. Whatever the fuck that is supposed to be. So I think we're quite set for 2018 to be a pretty good year for gamers then, right? It's going to be a good year. Maybe even better than 2017? Maybe? I don't know. So what do you make of my 6 most anticipated games of the year? Do you think that these games will define the year in gaming? Have I missed some games? Yes, I know that Death Stranding isn't on there, but it doesn't belong on there. It's not going to come out before 2019. And same with The Last of Us. The Last of Us isn't on this list either. It's not happening. It's not happening until next year. Anyway, come and let me know what you think down in the comments below or over on Twitter at DarylDoes. And until next time, my friends, the familiarity. I can't say familiar. The familiarity of the setting. It just doesn't sound right. The familiarity of it all. Familiarity. I don't know if that's a word anymore. I've said it that many times.